welcome everybody to the ASCW player cast of Joeone versus MaixTai. I'm Tumba. Casting with me for the first time is a Newbie McNoob. Newbie, so excited to have you, buddy.
I'm excited to be here, Tumba.
Yep, so we've got
So,
Joeone. He sent me this replay. He spawned as the blue Terran in the left side of Blistering Sands, and close by air position we've got MaixTai as the red Protoss. So I'm not sure exactly. I think Joeone is actually a Silver League player. We should be able to tell, I think, by the second or third minute into this. We'll find out as soon
yeah,
as possible.
yeah, you can usually tell by how close their early builds are, the beginning of their builds are. So he has an SCV they're wearing, and there goes the barracks. Got a PVT, so it's going to be very standard play from both players, I think. And I think Joeone is going to scout MaixTai first. MaixTai scouting to the upper right-hand side, and now to the left.
Yeah, you're right. Joeone does see him first here. And of course, when I said casting with me for the first time, I don't mean you're casting for the first time, simply with me for the first time. For those of you that don't know, Newbie McNoob, one of the best observers, best camera drivers in StarCraft 2. He and I will be applying to Code A, to cast Code A together, and we will turn them down just to say we turned them down. That is the plan, isn't it, Newbie?
Yes. Turn them down. Right. Yes. Yes. So, I might be, backstabbing you and just going to Korea, but you won't know that.
I won't know that until you're on the screen with Wolf or one of the other players, and then I can single-handedly make fun of them and cheer you on at the same time, as I do not plan on going to Korea anytime soon. Having so much fun with ASCW, of course. So,
Of course.
yeah, very standard play. You're right. So far, we see that our Protoss player has put down his cybernetic score. I think it's safe to go ahead and assume that they are. This is a bronze silver league ladder match.
Yes, I think it is.
Just from the placement of the SimCity from the Protoss, seems to be a little helter-skelter, if you will.
Yeah, it seems not really as planned out as you usually see Protosses make their buildings in higher level play, but there is an extra assimilator, so it looks like he will be going for some tech. I'm wondering to see what that is. It could be some sentries, it could be some early stalker play, could be air play, could be going for that fast robo. I don't know yet, so we'll have to see.
Joeone going ahead and building a command center.
Ooh, doing a one racks expand.
Yeah, one racks expand.
Ooh. Joeone. Very nice.
Little greedy.
It is a little greedy.
You can get away with it typically, though, as long as you're not facing a 4-gate.
Yeah, and MaixTai, he has enough for another gate, but he is going 2-gate robo. So there isn't going to be any huge aggression coming out of him anytime soon. And he should be able to get that command center down and ready.
Part of the issue, I think, in Bronze Silver, that I don't like to see the 2-gate robo. I like to see the 3-gate robo, simply for the fact that you need to keep your production up. And actually, as I say that, he's going to go down and throw down the 3rd gate. Very good.
There it goes.
Yeah, I feel like you need to have more stuff in the lower leagues in order to win, because you don't have that micro yet. So you want to sort of overwhelm with army, if you will.
Yeah, you definitely want to focus on your macro and your mechanics in the lower leagues. I know a lot of people who are pretty good players, and so they think that since they're better than most lower league players, that they can start doing all this fancy stuff, when really they could just get into platinum by macroing and macroing. And that's really where you want to start fixating in these lower leagues.
Absolutely. Get your production buildings up. Keep your probe count high. Don't get supply blocked. Make a lot of stuff, and that'll win you a lot of games.
Yeah, definitely.
Easier said than done, though.
It is. It is. I sometimes have trouble with that, obviously. But Joeone, he has 5 racks. 5 racks, and he's getting that expansion up and running. Meanwhile, MaixTai's very stalker sentry heavy. Meanwhile, getting observers into Joeone's base. He's going to see that Joeone does not really have a that much of a standing army because he took that early command center.
I love this, though. Getting the observer in there, getting all the information he needs. This is a brilliant play by MaixTai. Wants to go ahead and see what Joe's up to. Now, always very smart for the Terran to go ahead and build a missile turret. It will go ahead and detect DTs as well as any observers. So worth it just for that stealth detection alone. Not to mention, they're halfway decent versus Colossus.
Yeah, they are. If you engage it just right, those missile turrets will hit Colossi, and that just is extra DPS on those devastating siege units by the from the Protoss.
Yep.
Meanwhile, MaixTai can see that Joeone has excellent production going on at his base, regardless of being supply blocked currently. And although he knows that he has that Joeone has that expansion down, so he puts his own expansion down, and that's about halfway done.
Yeah.
A little more.
A little more than halfway done. Some gateway units out. I like his unit composition so far. Could stand to have a couple more zealots in there for tanking just in case he gets attacked. But you know what? He's got a decent sentry count for bronze silver and going ahead and saving up that valuable energy. The key will be to go ahead and position those in such a way that he doesn't lose them right away in the fight versus Joeone. But MaixTai doing very well in this opening, holding his own sort of with the macro versus Joeone. Joeone, I do believe Stim has finished, is now researching concussive, and going to go ahead and get combat shields as well.
Yeah, so those are going down. He is getting that level 1 upgrade, so we could see a nice timing push come out from Joeone here, although that's not as frequent in the lower leagues. I like to do it every once in a while if I roll Terran. It's very powerful, and usually as long as you focus down any immortals that they have, you can pretty much just roll right over them.
Immortals, an amazing unit, when used correctly, will tear Marauders apart. However, very susceptible to the DPS of Marines. So you've got to be very careful. You've got to use your Guardian Shield and Force Fields wisely. And actually, you don't even need Colossus. There are very good timings now off of one base for Protoss that will catch Terran unsuspecting. They typically wait to see that 12, 13, 14, 15 minute mark, but if you hit them early with a couple of sentries, some stalkers, and a few immortals, you can win outright in that push.
Yep. As long as you catch that Terran army off guard, but it looks like Joeone is moving out. Meanwhile, there is a proxy pylon down in the bottom right.
I like the placement. Yeah. Very nice placement of that. Sort of under the trees. Very easily visible from the mini-map. However, Marines may not notice it. And as you said, yeah, gearing up for an attack here, it looks like.
Yeah, he's positioning and he is moving in. However, MaixTai sees everything. There's an observer hovering right over that army, so MaixTai is going to have plenty of time to just do whatever he wants until this Terran army is ready to come in.
Oh, but he's missing the force fields. A couple late ones does do a good job stimming all of his Marines and Marauders now. Is going to go ahead and, MaixTai could be in a bit of trouble here as no force fields being placed down. One Guardian Shield pops. Needs to go ahead and reinforce, and he should be able to clean this up. But neither one really gaining much initiative there. Both attacks kind of fail attacks.
Yeah, that was not really good for either player. They just kind of traded. They just kind of butted heads for a little bit, and now they're both just going to go back home and just heal their wounds.
Now, I remember casting Joeone in one of the ASC weeklies. He actually had a match won, didn't realize it. He had a propensity for playing maybe just a little bit too safe. So I like this out of him. I like the early aggression. I like him going up and letting the Protoss know, hey, I'm in your face, and I'm not going anywhere. But I also like MaixTai is able to go ahead and keep that observer pinned to the army of Joeone. Very smart thing to do. Keep your army near your natural. Go ahead and scan it. And that will allow all of the Marines to go ahead and take out any observers that may be tagged to your army. Researching now, looks like Psystorm.
Psystorm is going down as well as the Dark Shrine.
And he's taking a third. So he's going to need that third to go ahead and be able to support all of that tech.
Yeah, he is. However, there is going to be a big lull here where he is not going to have the gas to produce anything but zealots, essentially, if he plans on using both High Templar and Dark Templar.
Yeah, and here we go. We're going to see another engagement. We do have medevacs. Stim goes down, and now they're getting a pretty good firing arc on the end of the Protoss, actually, and Guardian Shield gets popped. But here we go. MaixTai trying to advance in on this Gateway army as best as possible, but Zealots tanking a lot of the damage, allowing Stalkers to DPS out the rest. So another failed attack by Joeone. I feel like Joe's sort of throwing his army away into this Protoss army, but then again, the toss not getting the best of the exchange either could be a lot more cost-effective if you use those sentries. And remember, every time he loses a sentry, that's 100 gas.
Yeah, and that's big, especially when he's doing this Templar, like double Templar, essentially. They're both pretty gas-heavy units, and so if you want to be able to use both of them to their full advantage, you're going to need to dedicate a lot of your gas to it, and you can't be losing units like sentries because you can't afford to replace them.
No, and I feel like that's a mistake. I feel like going High Templar and Dark Templar is a big mistake.
Yeah.
I think you need to stick with one tech path. If you're going to pick one, I do believe the better one to pick would be the High Templar, simply because Storm is so powerful.
Ooh, Storm and then feedback. You feedback those medevacs, they just go down.
Yep.
And then you can pretty much just take out the rest of his army, which is another thing. He had some High Templars in there, did not use feedback at all, and he just kind of A-moved. High Templar do not have an attack. You need to be able to have them on a different hotkey, and instead of just A-moving your entire army, position them so that they can get their spells off.
Right.